but I appreciate your.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from the public, and this goes with if we do, or we're not able to veer from the comp plan, then it's not a plan. I mean, it's a directive, you're just doing this. And so, what I'm hearing is that people are fed up with the traffic, they're fed up with the amount of people moving here, they're fed up with the prices, housing prices. They're fed up with this concentration of people that are causing their taxes probably to go up, because who's gonna pay for all this? And I agree with them. I don't like the growth that we have. And then when we project it to be even greater, I don't like that either. Is there anything wrong to say I don't like growth? Well, that's the way it is. I don't like where we're headed. I've loved living here. I see it changing, and I don't like to see the changes. So the question is, are we gonna accelerate that growth so it gets worse sooner? Or are we gonna try to let things progress at a slower pace? I mean, we're not the only city that's dealing with that. Regarding private property rights, I'm a strong advocate for private property rights. I think when a property is zoned a certain way, they have every right to do whatever the zoning legally allows them to do. I have never said, oh, you can't do something if it's zoned the correct way. Now, if you're gonna argue with me and say, well, we've got to annex a property from a farmer because, you know, he has on paper $50 million in property and he doesn't have a 401k, and he needs to be annexed so that he can now subdivide that and make, you know, $10 million off of it. We as a city have no obligation to annex a property and then put a greater burden on our city for the cost that we have to provide for services there. We don't have to do that. Now, and I think if we're in disagreement that we need to help the farmer because they're the poor farmer, we're gonna have a disagreement on that.
Just because, to keep us focused, that has never been an issue in the city of Hayden, and in my mind, makes no sense. We don't ask for annexation, and with respect to annexing out of the area, it's a great example that's never been.
It's been brought up twice by Roger and Dick that it's the farmer, they don't have a 401k, or they don't, and so their land is the only.
I've never heard any of
I never mentioned annexing.
It's okay.
But I'm bringing that in because.
Go ahead, it's my fault, but I've never heard that example in 6 years, so keep going. I just wanna make sure that we stay on task.
Sure. And I guess what really shocked me is that with the comprehensive plan, I thought there was going to be a natural progression of the current zoning the way it is. We would have property owners who would come to us and say, we want to go to mixed use or new one of our zoning. And I thought, well, that'll come onesie twosie kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, we got 1,800 or 1,600 letters going out saying, and I know legally we're told that that can be done, but that was a mass shift in zoning. That was a shock to me. I mean, that was never told that we were gonna have a whole bunch of letters going out. The next thing I see is a letter saying, oh, by the way, these are going out to all these people. And so that soured me on the approach, the methodology that we used, because it made it look like the city was saying, we're making these changes and we're selling it. We're forcing it. And you may disagree with me, but that's how I saw that. Going back to the Viking construction, $650,000. The very last approval for payment on that, I talked to John Cafferty about the contract that, and he's made it clear, we had no obligation to pay him. Viking Construction, excuse me a minute, I'm talking too much. We had no obligation to pay Viking $650,000. And what I heard was, what's the right thing to do? Well, Was it the right thing to do that Viking participated in the NIBCA lawsuit, which cost the city $1 million, which all our sewer users are paying for? And it's because of that lawsuit that the latecomer ordinance that we had, where he could have gotten that money, went away. It was the fault of that lawsuit that caused the problem for them. So why should we give Viking Construction $650,000? By the way, I did the research on it and looked at the number of building permits and the cap fees that were paid during the time period of the class definition for the class action lawsuit that was filed against us. And Viking would have gotten the largest amount of, he had the largest amount of claims. That doesn't make me happy that we got sued, we had to pay all that money, and our sewer payers had to pay for that. So why is it the right thing to do when we don't have to do something contractually? And Cafferty made that clear to me, made it absolutely clear. So I may have agreed to it early, but when it came down to funding it, when I found out when we settled our case and in respect to that lawsuit, I changed my mind. I think if there isn't anybody on this board while you've been on the board here, have you ever changed your mind on something? You get a better understanding, you hear from people, you hear from our constituents, and that can happen. So I wanted to define that. This is all boiling down, folks. There's a shift in and I'll talk about the politics that's going to happen. The Cooney County Republican Central Committee, they have now said, we're going after nonpartisan races. They, in the last election in May, they had an 80% success rate. They're patting themselves on the back, and they have 2 candidates in Coeur d'Alene, and they'll be coming here. And do you think they like taxes? Do you think they like more government? And they don't. I mean, they're part of why our legislature was hesitant in funding education. And you know how important education is. I just bring that up because there are a lot of people that are like-minded that think about the impact of taxes on them and regulations. And people that, the emails and the calls I've gotten from some pretty high-profile folks, some of you know them and they own large parcels in this city, they agreed with me. So, you know, okay, so it goes to the question. I would hope that the city council would want to listen to the voice of the people, because you would send the wrong message if you don't allow a city hall on Thursday night for whatever reason, because, oh, well, we already heard from those folks. Well, things change. And if you want to send the message, you don't want to listen to them, that's up to you. But I believe that we need to listen to what the voices are saying now, because what the voices that I'm hearing are not happy with the growth, not happy with the traffic, not happy with the prospect of having to pay for the growth. And that's all I have to say. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.